Good to have you back here on a Thursday on America's Voice Live. Thank you for stopping in. Now, Democrats claim that their socialist agenda is aimed at making life better for those at the bottom of the income ladder. But if history proves anything, it proves their policies fail, especially their war on energy, which came after the war on poverty. Both were failures. In states like Maine, where President Joe Biden just imposed a drilling moratorium, residents have seen the cost of heating more than double over the last year, especially in those lower income areas. Well done, everybody. Here to explain why is public policy associate at the Alliance for Innovation and Infrastructure, Roy Mathews. Roy, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Steve. Appreciate it.
Now we see a variety of pressures on energy. When Joe Biden took office, the price of gasoline in America, where I live, was $2.25. I'm just looking now today; it's at $3.35. So it's $1.10 more today, and he's out there bragging about what a great job he's done with the price of energy or inflation or other things. It just isn't true. The fact is, energy of all forms, whether it be natural gas, oil, gasoline, electricity, it's all more expensive today by far, significantly higher than it was 2 years ago. Right or wrong?
Oh, you're absolutely right. And one of the largest increases we've seen is with the cost of heating, especially for the lower income folks. As you mentioned, most of the lower income folks use kerosene to heat their homes. And most of these low income folks live in either mobile homes or older homes that have a kerosene tank outside of the home, because kerosene is a pretty niche fuel that can be used to withstand lower temperatures. And kerosene right now in Maine is still above $6 a gallon and was $7 a gallon earlier this winter.
Wow. $6-7 a gallon. And how much kerosene do you use compared to other heating sources? I know that like propane is not as dense as heating oil. Natural gas is somewhere in the middle. Where does kerosene fall on the scale here?
Well, kerosene is one of those fuels that has to be refined over and over and over again. It's a very pure fuel. And only about 14% of Americans actually use either kerosene or heating oil to heat their homes. But a large majority of that share is concentrated in the Northeast, where the temperatures, if you saw this past weekend, were in the negative 50s and negative 60 degree below zero. So most of these folks that are relying on kerosene have been subject to some pretty high temperatures, or low temperatures, excuse me.
Minus 50. That sounds like a nice place to vacation. Never. Especially if there's a shortage of kerosene. The point is what you're telling me, Roy. People are bankrupting themselves. They're bankrupting themselves just trying to pay the damn heat bill. And then the electric bill. If it's anything like it is here where I am and other people I've talked to, the electric bill is also going up dramatically. And now they have this special thing where they charge you more between like 4 and 8 in the afternoon into the early evening. They charge you more for electricity, when everybody's home. They're just kicking us in the knee at every point they possibly can.
Right, and it's really sad on the ground. Maine has the oldest average age in the entire nation, so most of the folks that are heating their homes with kerosene are older folks that are living on Social Security checks. I spoke with one woman in Lewiston, Maine, who got about $1,200 from the Social Security Administration a month. And if kerosene is $6 and most oil companies require a minimum purchase of 100 gallons to drive their trucks out and deliver the kerosene, that's $600 that you're paying for just 100 gallons of kerosene that can maybe get you through a month or two if you put it on all the time. And for folks that have $1,200 Social Security, you still have $700 left to fill up your car, pick up your medications, drive to work if you're still working part-time. I mean, this really impacts the people who can least afford it the most.
It's crushing people is what it's doing, Roy. It's just absolutely crushing people. So it's government interference, overregulation, the demand for windmills and solar panels. How do those work in Maine, by the way? I'll give you the last word.
Right. Well, we've seen an explosion of solar panels being built in Maine. And the problem with solar panels is, surprise, it snows a lot in Maine. And when you have a massive amount of snow accumulate, correct, on these solar panels, it actually decreases how efficient these solar panels can be. Most solar panels experience some loss of efficiency if you get dirt, dust, or grime on them. If you have 5 feet of snow on them, you're going to see decreases of 50% efficiency. So most of these folks are going out and buying wood pellets or firewood or any sort of thing to burn just to heat their homes.
Well, burning wood's going to be illegal too because, it puts soot in the air and particulate. That'll be illegal soon, Roy. But I'm just shocked that there's snow in Maine. I mean, I read the New York Times 10 years ago that snow would be almost virtually gone by now. You'd never even see the stuff. Anyhow, Roy, greatly appreciated. Thank you for enduring my sarcasm. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, we'll get back to the news after a quick break and a message from our sponsor, Birch Gold. Now, despite the United States blowing through a $31.4 trillion debt ceiling in January, the leftist White House still refuses to reduce spending. Well, our national leadership has buried their heads in the sand when it comes to fiscal responsibility. You don't have time to do that, my friend. Now would be a great time to diversify into gold with Birch Gold. In times of high uncertainty and instability, gold's king. It's dependable. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Here's what you need to do. Text America to 989898 and claim your key information kit that's also free on gold, and then talk to one of the precious metal specialists. Think about this. To dig into our country out of the mountain of debt that we have right now, every single taxpayer in America would have to write a check for $247,000. It's because only about half of us pay taxes to the federal government. And it only gets worse, by the way. Protect yourself with gold today. Texting America to 989898 with an A-plus rating. With a Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, and countless five-star reviews, you can trust Birch Gold to protect your future. Text America to 989898 today. All right? Up after the break, the Biden administration selling weapons to Poland? Really? Why are they doing that? We'll talk about it next.